Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to the Sealive podcast. My name is Sam, and as always, it wouldn't be a Sealive podcast if I didn't have my trusted friend and podcast sidekick, Mr. Christopher Barnes.
Hey, how are you, mate?
Are you podcasted out?
I could do more.
Because
should we do one tomorrow?
We've been doing this now, Chris, 43 weeks.
43 weeks.
This is the 43rd podcast that we've done.
Wow. Isn't that mad? And each week there's been someone different, someone amazing, someone unique in the arts, it's amazing.
It is great. Our guest this evening, is she the first Welsh guest that we've had?
We've been to New York, we've been to LA, we've been to Dallas. There's talk of us going to Madrid, but we've never been to Wales.
No, we haven't. So, without further ado, let's introduce our guest for this evening. It's Rhianwen Pugh. How are we doing, Rhianwen?
Hey!
Hi, guys. How are you? Thank you for having me on tonight. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Absolute pleasure to have you on. It's great to see you. We're great. I'm feeling great. Chris, how about you?
Fine. I've had a great day. I've not done much, which is a difference for me. Playing guitar for a little bit. I had to teach someone guitar how to play Bohemian Rhapsody on guitar before.
Bohemian Rhapsody seems to be one of those songs that you have to learn on your chosen instrument. Rhianwen, have you learned that on? It's the harp you play, isn't it?
Yeah, I actually did. I actually
Whoa.
did learn it. There's quite a lot of dexterity there. It's not one that's just easily picked up overnight. But like you said, I think everyone wants to learn that. It's the spotlight solo, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's hard work. I tell you that for a guitarist. I just said to them in the end, right, capo it, and let's go for it. So it made life a little bit easier, if I'm honest with you. But the solo's not too hard. I've never played the solo in my life, and which is very surprising. And I smashed it in about half an hour, so not a problem.
Easy for some. Easy for some. Like I remember trying to learn this on piano, and no, it took me weeks, absolutely weeks. And then I can match it up on guitar tabs and just play the chords now. That's as far as I can go. But Rhianwen, take us back to day dot. How do you pick up a harp? And this is a crazy question, but how do you do that?
You don't? Have you seen the size?
Well, this is what I mean. Wait, how do you play? Like, just tell us. Go on.
So you don't start on the full-size massive concert harp. There's the cute little lever harp. So when I was in school, all my friends were having woodwind lessons, clarinet, piano, and so on. And my mum was like, come on, let's start doing clarinet lessons. No, I don't want to do clarinet. Do piano lessons. No, I'm fine, thank you. And then I went to a concert or a festival, I think it was, and on stage there was the most beautiful gold-plated harp, and I remember I was 8 years old and I was like, that one, I want to do that. So it must have been a nightmare to begin with for my parents, but the harp is actually the national instrument of Wales. So at the time, there was sort of government backing, there was all these grants to really sort of encourage harp lessons, especially in primary schools. So it was great. I started off on the small lever ones, and then as I grew taller, the harps grew taller as well, really. And I had, the school lessons, so I used to be able to leave lessons early to go for harp lessons. So yeah, that's how it all started, really.
Oh, it's the maddest instrument, the harp, though. I've never played it. Have you played a harp, Sam?
Never played the harp.
I've never played harp. I've only seen close up once a girl. I think it was in Wales actually. A girl playing in a street, kind of just got that. But how do you make the sound? Do you touch the string and then pluck it?
Yeah. So it's plucking the string. So you get calluses at the end. Your fingers, you get really tough fingers. It's just all about the warm up and so on. So the articulation when you're playing has to be really clean. So I've never had, lovely long nails. And so yeah, it's all about plucking and then bringing the finger and the hand back into itself for the best sound.
I don't know how many strings has it got. Is it every different or?
Take a guess.
Oh my Go on, goodness. Chris. You go first. You go first.
100.
Well, okay. Let's have a think. I'm going to go the pragmatic route. I'm going to work this out. So, 8 octave, 8. So, I would say there's probably about 5 octaves. So, 5 8s. No, 5. Okay, I'm going to say... I don't think it's more than 200. I'm going to say less than 200.
Okay, so it's 47, but I can understand why you guys thought it's more. So there's 47 strings, but there's no black notes. You know the black notes on the keyboard? They're my feet. So I have 7 pedals as well to change the tension of the strings. So each pedal has 2 settings. So it's in the middle, it can go flat or down for sharp. So I've got 7 pedals as well. So my feet are tap dancing along at the same time as well.
I don't know that. You play with your feet.
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that?
I didn't.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
It's not amazing.
So obviously, it's not only the hands, but the feet. How does that, obviously learning from a child from an early age, obviously it's one thing doing with your hands and one thing doing with your feet. What's the process? Do you start with the hands and then move to the feet?
So when you're younger, learning on the Celtic or the lever harp, there's no pedals, there's little levers, so you can change them and they put pressure on the string. So it's quite visual, for when little ones, they can see and they can sort of see the sort of key change or whatever. So it's the sort of concert size harp that moves on to have those pedals. And ideally, as a performer, you don't want the audience to be focusing on your feet, so you try and move your feet as quietly as possible. And after a concert or something, or say I'm doing a workshop and talking about the instrument, lots of people go, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know there was pedals." And I'm like, yes.
Because all the videos you see of harp players that I've seen you never see the feet. It's all the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You'd never know. Isn't that mad?
Yeah, there was. I remember when I was in college, the pieces, the more difficult the pieces, the more pedal movement. So I used to sit on the tube and just sort of move my feet, just the pedal practice, because it's so complex. But it sort of gets, as the pieces get more difficult, that's when the pedals come in more, really.
Unbelievable. That I do believe, though, that if you go through it in your head without the instruments, it does come.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've played solos in Italy. Say if I'm on holiday and I'm listening to it, I'll play it, and then I can actually physically play it.
It's a good form of practice, I think. I remember used to, going through the pieces, can you hear it all in your head, and then, where you were stuck in your mind, you'd be stuck practically later, wouldn't you?
See, I've always had, Sam and I, obviously, we're in the band together up all night. I don't know how Sam remembers all the lyrics to all them songs.
I don't. That's why.
I'm useless at lyrics, this song. And chords, the sequences are fine, because you kind of have a process of that's coming next. It's easy. And you do sing along with them, but I can't remember lyrics. I am awful at remembering. So, well in, Sam.
Oh, thank you. You mentioned, Rhianwen, that you take the tube, obviously, when you were training. What's that like, taking a harp on the tube? Because peak hours on the tube is busy, and having a big massive harp, a harp just in general. What's that like on the tube?
So I didn't take the full size harp on the tube. I used to take the smaller one on my back, and that was a nightmare. I remember the first few weeks, going to London for the first time and being like, I need a car to get around to the gigs. I need to, everything. I need a car for the harp. And I remember my dad, bearing in mind, as from a small Welsh village, my dad bring my car down, saying, there we go, you've got a car now, bye. And I just had to learn to drive around London, which was the best thing that could have happened looking back. Oh my gosh, it was scary. So I never used to be the one, trying to get a full-size harp on a tube. I did it on the train once, which was fun. But the smaller harp, I'd put it on my back and then sort of be like, don't come near me with it.
It must be amazing just to see a girl with a harp on her back on a tube.
People would be like, the typical jokes you get is like, oh, is that an oven glove? What have you got in there? Does it fold up? Don't you wish you played the flute? And at that time, I'm like...
Driving in London, I agree, is terrifying. Absolutely the scariest road I've ever been was around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. Oh, my goodness, that was scary. But London, it's just the congestion.
Horrendous. It used to take, you'd have to allow so much time just to get 5 miles, wouldn't you? And it's just another world, really.
It's not for me. You were in London because you were in the Royal College of Music.
So I started my performance, so Bachelor of Music degree when I was 18, and it was obviously mostly performance based. You learn about whichever modules you'd chosen. So I did symphony and all these quirky little things as well. But it was amazing. I'm so glad I did it, because at the time I was between Cardiff and London, and I love both cities. But looking back at the experiences I got and being in the college and playing for people and doing all the sort of ensembles with other students, it's right opposite the Albert Hall, isn't it? So to have that experience, it was really, really good. It was great.
Sam knows this. Sam, I turned the Royal College of Music down.
What?
Sorry, Roby College of Music.
Oh,
sorry.
You terrible. That's your dyslexia, that.
Yeah, it is fine to say. Creeping in again. But to get to the Royal College of Music is just an unbelievable achievement. Because the competition to get there is, even in that, it's just, how many harp players were there?
They used to limit it for 2 for each year. Wow. So I was so naive, and I when I was a teenager, I just loved to perform. That was just my thing. That was always going to be my thing. My mum and dad are not musical, so we didn't know about this sort of conservatoire music college side of things. So, I went there. I went for all these auditions with my mum. We hadn't been to London before. And then, you read the stats afterwards, or when you're lining up for whatever, and they let 5% of the auditions in. So I'm glad I read that afterwards. So yeah, it was fantastic.
So wow. But I bet you got plenty of work from it, because it's like, all right, we need this harp player in. We need the harp in the tracks. That's amazing. Amazing.
I used to be able to work if I wanted 14-hour days. I just loved it. There's so many different sort of opportunities and different performances. It's never ending, really. It was great.
But a few other things, didn't it? Because you have played at the Albert Hall, played at Buckingham Palace, and you have played for the Queen.
The first time my mum came down again, so she was like, "You're playing for the Queen, can I come?" So I was like, okay. So I remember my mum helping me set up, and she had sandwiches in the green.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So what happened there? What was it? Was it a birthday or? So
yeah, that time it was her birthday, and so Prince Charles is connected to the Royal College, so he's some sort of chancellor or something. He goes there once a year, so that's how that connection happened, really.
Did you meet her?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Sam knows this. You've done one of my goals. Is she tiny?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Chris, I don't know if you know this. I've sang for the Queen, Chris. Yeah, of course I have.
Not the Queen tribute band.
Not the Queen tribute. Don't be so naive, you. Her Royal Highness.
Really?
Queen Elizabeth II. I have. When I was...
When was this? She kept
well,
this quiet.
I thought, because me and Rhianwen, we're like two peas in a pod. We both, we perform for the Queen. That's what we do. Do you know what I'm saying? No,
Wait. Tell me how you played for the Queen. This is news to me.
It's made up. No, it was when I was in the Royal Philharmonic Youth Choir. So Liverpool during 2008, it was Capital of Culture. So the Queen came up, and part of the celebrations there came to the Philharmonic Hall in Liverpool. And I was part of the youth choir, so I had an amazing opportunity to sing as she walked into the Philharmonic, kind of like the foyer area, and the choir were there, and we did this African djembe song, and then she went on to watch the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. So that's the only time I've ever seen a harp. To answer the question before, is probably when I used to do the rehearsals for the Philharmonic, and it was just a crazy time. I think I was only about 11 or 12. So so there you go, Chris. You learn something every day.
Well, there we go. Rhianwen, did you say anything to her, or did you just?
No,
You're not allowed.
No, she we were all sort of lined up, and she just said thank you. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. And have you met Prince Charles?
Yeah, so I performed when he came to the college a few times. I was performing as he sort of entered the building on the top sort of tier of the college.
That's amazing. See, this is what we're bringing into the world, Sam. This is it. This is where we're rolling now. Once we get with the royal performers, there's no going back.
This is what I mean. This is what we do, Chris. Not only that, for royalty, some big artists that are probably royalty in the halls of fame of music. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of those people, artists that you performed with?
Yeah, so I'll start from, so when I was a teenager before London, there's this phenomenal harpist called Catherine Finch, and my harp teacher was her mother-in-law. So I got to play duets with her quite a few times, which it was amazing. And then I've accompanied, just sticking to the Welsh side to begin with, I've accompanied opera singer Bryn Terfel a few times. And then in London, I was so lucky, my first year of college, I was given the opportunity to perform with Dizzy Rascal and Florence Machine at the Brits.
Love it.
Yeah.
That was epic. It was so good. I've accompanied Adele a couple of times, so that was something else. She's a character. And then I played for Elton John. I played him Can We Feel the Love Tonight, because I just had to. It's been really, really good.
What did he say when you played him?
Yeah, he just said, oh, I like that. Whose song is that?
Oh, dearie me.
I love it. What was Adele like to work with?
Hilarious. Really, really funny. So with her accent and my accent, she just used to laugh at me. So, but she's just amazing. She would go from, being quite chilled, laid back, to all of a sudden being able to belt that voice out. It was quite surreal, sort of seeing that transaction to serious mega pop star.
Yeah, because she's got like a unique accent, hasn't she? But it doesn't come across when she's singing.
No.
At all? It's mad.
No, her voice is beautiful.
She's got an amazing voice, Adele. And obviously the album what was the big album she did? Sam?
21, wasn't it?
21, that's it, 21. That just skyrocketed.
She did 19 as well, didn't she? She does numbers, doesn't she?
Mm-hmm.
19,
just skyrocketed her career. So what did you do? Where did you play along with her?
One was in Camden in London, and then a second one, there was an event. It was like a promo / event in Barcelona. So there was a string quartet and a pianist as well. So that was the second time. That was the last time.
So do you have to get your harp on a plane as well?
No, I rented one.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
No,
I wasn't doing that.
So you can obviously play other harps. Do you prefer your own, or do they feel different? Are they?
There's different sort of brands like everything.
Yeah.
And you can play different harps. It depends what you're trying to play. So if I was going to go for a serious sort of difficult concert, I'd need sort of a few hours, a few days ideally to get used to it. But it's about preference. So the harp I have the brand's an Italian brand, Salvi harps. It's my preference. I like the mellowness of the sound. But there's French harps, there's American, there's Welsh harps. It's just your preference, really.
That's my, because guitars, they're set up how I like them. The strings are the gauge that I like them. The kind of the necks. So if I was to do a gig, I couldn't just say, "Oh, give us a guitar," because it just wouldn't connect. So yeah, it's mad. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? You just, I suppose the harp, you can't just take it on a tube. Oh wait, there. No, you can't.
So, when you've performed all around the world, you've just mentioned Barcelona and Camden. But was there a moment where you were performing somewhere, or it was a rehearsal before the performance, and you were taken back by where you were or who you were with, the surrounding, the place where you're performing? Is there a moment where you just think, where you had to take a step back and go, wow, this is my job. I get to do this on a regular basis?
I think the Barcelona one was, I couldn't believe I was there. But I remember I used to work on cruise ships, and I used to have this evening slot where I'd perform a concert. And, it wasn't I love doing the background music stuff, and I love playing that sort of gigs and weddings and all this sort of thing. But I remember this particular evening time was my concert time, so my proper, repertoire. And I always used to play it on top deck, and it was sunset. And I remember sailing from Honolulu, and I just had watched the whales, and I was playing there, and I was thinking, oh, the sunset and just see. It was amazing.
Oh, unbelievable.
So how far have you been on your cruises then?
They were worldwide, so I was really lucky.
Wow. So you went. Mm-hmm. You've been right around the world playing the harp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so lucky.
We're in the wrong game here. We're in the wrong game here, Sam. Put your mic down. Put your mic down. Get a harp.
But the thing is, though, it's hard work. I mean, the hard work and dedication that you probably put in over the years, Rhianwen, is probably, six. Well, I don't want to put words into your mouth, but how many hours were you training on a regular basis? How many hours were you putting in?
Well, I'm sure you're the same. Like especially when you're growing up and you're being a teenager, and the sacrifices you're making because you have to practice. I used to get up at 6:30, and I used to do an hour and a half rehearsal before going to school, and then I'd do another 3 hours when I came back. And while I was in college, I would do 6 hours a day. So I did work really, really hard, and it is the experiences I've had. I've been so lucky, and I've enjoyed all of them. But there has been, lots of sacrifices along the way, and like musicians know, there's a lot of hard work connected to it behind the scenes, isn't there?
I think that's the hardest thing to do. Obviously, I teach kids, and you're all teaching some capacity, I can imagine. But it's just getting the kids so interested enough to pick the instruments up and get them to play it. It's the most difficult thing in the world. You can teach them whatever but to get them to that dedication where they can just physically pick it up and play it is the hardest thing. So
yeah, I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before. My granddad would say to me, it's got to be within you. You've got to fight for it. And I remember my granddad saying to me, because my granddad used to pay for drama lessons and singing lessons, he would wait until I would say, I want to go to drama lessons, or I want to go to music lessons. And then he'd say, okay, we'll see how we get on. And then I'd go away and I'd go back on my computer or do whatever, and then I'd come back and I'd go, I want to go on drama lessons, I want to do music. And he'd go, well, I don't know, Sam, you're not really into it, are you? Blah blah blah. And it was only on the third time that he would say, okay, I believe you now. So it's crazy. Did you have to go through that, or was it just from that moment you thought, no, harp musician?
It's funny that you say about your grandfather. My nana, she bought my first harp, and without her, I couldn't have done it.
Wow.
So I never saw it as, I don't know, when you've got, English lessons, maths lessons, I never saw it as a lesson. I used to love going to my harp lessons, and I remember them saying, okay, so you need to start practicing with 10 minutes, get your fingers tougher, and then whatever age, it was half an hour a day. And I remember half an hour going, what, I have to stop now. It was never,
never enough.
Never difficult to get me there to do it.
Yeah. Time does fly when you obviously when you're into the music, but pure dedication is the most important.
It's catching the bug, isn't it? You catch the bug when you learn.
Yeah.
When you're learning an instrument, or when I was picking up guitar only, when I was 16, 17, obviously I'd sang for since I was 10, 11, and then played the piano and did music theory, and then it was only around 16, 17 when I started picking up the guitar, and I remember saying, God, this really hurts. Like, what's the point in doing this? It really hurts. But obviously, it's being able to do that. But aside from music, have you got any other hobbies that you like to do? Watching TV, obviously there's not much that we can do currently at the moment, being in this lockdown, but have you been, what do you do in your spare time other than music?
I like to keep fit. I'm not like a marathon runner or anything like that. I did try running, it wasn't my thing, but I like to keep fit. I like to walk around new places, go explore new places, walk around when we could and when we can again. I love traveling, even just a weekend, pop somewhere, go somewhere, love seeing new places.
It's not travel around the world numerous times, so there's not many more places you need to go, to be fair. But you have been to Brazil. I do know this. How's that come about?
So while I was on one of my contracts on the ship, I was contacted by my agent that wanted me to go to Brazil and perform a series of concerts over 6 weeks. So I was like, yeah, gonna go. I sort of was home, I think, on the 3rd of May, phoned my mum saying, yeah, I'm gonna be home for 2 days and I'm going to Brazil. And my mum and dad were like, what are you doing? What are you doing now? So it was amazing. I played 6 concerts around different parts of Brazil, and it was just amazing. I was played on the smaller harp, so it was sort of Celtic music, and it was all part of that. And when I was there, 2016, I think, when I was there was like this international harp congress in Rio at the same time, so I got to be a part of that. It was amazing.
It's mad, isn't it, how you don't hear of any of this? It's because you don't obviously go looking for harp music. Do you know what I mean? Did I tell you, Sam, what I asked for Christmas?
No, go on.
Bagpipes.
What happened?
Waiting. That's what honestly, I asked for bagpipes. I'm still waiting. I'm gonna try the bagpipes. That's my.
You've come up with some crazy things, You really do.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try them, and then when Up All Nighter on doing them, I'm gonna get them out, and I'm gonna give a bagpipe solo.
When's Burns night? Because you can play them for 5 seconds, and then we can burn them. I think that's what we can do with that. I'm going to take a small moment now just to promote the Sealive agency, because that's what we're here for. We do the Sealive podcast to interview these fantastic artists and their careers to date, what they've been up to during COVID, etc. But what you need to do is follow us on our social media. If you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, it would mean the absolute world to Chris and I. We started this a good 2 years ago, wasn't it, Chris?
concept was there, and look where we are now.
Exactly, and even the podcast itself, we decided to do it over lockdown, and we thought, let's do it. Let's get these great artists on. Let's talk about anything and everything. So please do follow us on Facebook, which is at Sealive. On Twitter, we are at Sealive Enter 1, and on Instagram, we are at Sealive. As well, you can check out our fantastic website, which is www.sealive.co.uk, seelive.co.uk. You can find all of our latest and greatest artists, including, drumroll, our guest this evening. Because that is our news for tonight. Rhianwen, you're joining the Sealive agency. You're appearing there right now at this very second on our agency website. Thank you.
I'm so excited. Thank you. I've played a few, in a few venues around Liverpool before as well, and I'm just excited to be able to join you guys and hopefully in the future be able to jam together.
Well, cool. Could you imagine that? Let's do it, Sam.
Absolutely.
Let's get it done. Let's get it boxed.
It needs to happen. I mean, obviously, we talk regularly to all the different venues within Liverpool and the surrounding areas of the Northwest. But obviously, we are going through an unbelievable time in everyone's lifetime. I mean, it's crazy that we're having to say that, we're living through this. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There definitely is.
And I'm looking forward to when we're back up, fully running. We can get things operational. There's loads happening. People are talking to us daily, but it's another part of the agency now. We brought something different in through you.
I'm so sorry.
Now, so
I thought you were gonna say it's another string to her harp.
But you bring. Look, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? It's normal, and you know what? I'm going to take. It's normally me saying the dad, kind of stuff.
The dad jokes are with you.
See, I'm rubbing off on him.
I'm so sorry.
It's great because we've brought something different to the agency now through you. So hopefully, and I know we will. It will push on.
Yeah.
It really will. Let's hope, though, a festival that I know you have played at, and it is the greatest festival in the whole wide world. Sadly cancelled again, Glastonbury.
I know. I just heard the news, and it's just sad, especially after being cancelled last year as well, isn't it? It will come back, and it'll be amazing. Can you imagine the first time we were all allowed back and the music live and the atmosphere? So it will come back. When I played there before, the atmosphere is just it's like nothing else, isn't it? Everyone's just so happy. Everyone's just having the times of their life. I just can't wait for events like that, festival gigs, everything to come back. It will come back. So
where did you play at Glastonbury? What did you do?
Gosh, we played as the string quartet, and I was playing, and we were just doing sort of different covers and the different arrangements of songs. So there was 5 of us. We went down together. So I was in my car, and the violinist was with me, and then there was another car, and I've tried to get the harp into quite a few situations. But if you can imagine the mud in Glastonbury and sort of trying to wheel the harp, in the end 4 guys were like, do you want us to carry it?
You
like, please.
Actually had to go in the car park, so the orange, the green, whatever, take a harp. Oh my god, I just can't. Yeah, because at Glastonbury you park it must be 2 miles from.
They let you sort of drop off and then move the car back, and I thought I was quite well equipped because there's a festival in Wales which is called the Eisteddfod, and there's harps accompanying all the time, all throughout the whole week. So I competed there, I've used to perform there, work there, so I'm used to tackling the mud, but not Glastonbury mud.
It's another. You just see people who are dragging alcohol up on a trolley and the wheels fell off and they're just crying on the floor. It's just insane. I've only played Glastonbury once. I don't even know if Sam knows this.
You're coming out with loads tonight.
No, I have played the Glastonbury once, and it was the Jam tent.
Oh no, you have told me this. You have.
I have played it. So technically, I played Jam tent. I was playing, and people were singing. So technically, does that mean I played Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I had a crowd. They were all singing. So I think that it's probably not on your scale. But where did you keep the harp in the tent?
No, I took it back to the car afterwards and I dropped it off with my friends. My friend lives like 10 miles away, so that was quite handy. Yeah, and then just went back and enjoyed.
It's a great experience. Great experience. Hopefully, we can all get there. I'm sure we'll have the Sealive stage in a few years' time, Sam.
I think so. I want a flag there. Sealive flag.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You know, when you see on the BBC, there's that person with maybe a rainbow flag, or, you know, we need to do it.
Got to get it.
It's got to be done.
Let's get it done.
Let's get it. Do you know what we need? I'm sorry, Chris. We need t-shirts and mugs and stuff to sell. Just putting it out there.
Well, yeah, whatever. We could drink it like while we're watching the podcast.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
There you go. Like the news. There you go. But we don't watch the news.
No, no. Keep that negative stuff off. They only ever talk about COVID now. Although having said that, the first sort of news that came on this afternoon at 6 was the floods. So I don't know. Obviously, the rural areas around Wales. Has any villages been affected there?
There's people that sort of evacuated yesterday, more in sort of mid Wales, I think, but not where I am. Nothing major anyway. It's just the roads, isn't it? It's so wet, and then it started snowing. I was just what's going on?
It's just grim, isn't it? Yeah, it's because of Christoph. I brought the storm. And when it's a storm from me, you know it's going to be a bad one.
I can't deal with you. Rhianwen, obviously we want to push you anywhere and everywhere, but what is the best sort of gig for you in regards to the wedding scene? Obviously, because being a harp player, and you mentioned before about the string quartet, and the opportunities that you've had playing with them. Is it that sort of music that you enjoy playing the most at those sort of weddings, the sort of the slower, more classical stuff?
I think what I enjoy the most is having the variety. So I'm classically trained. I love playing classical music. I'm Welsh, so we have, a ton of sort of traditional tunes that I know, back to front. But I am also really, really open to sort of creating my own arrangements. So I've created arrangements from like Creep, Radiohead, Africa, Toto.
Oh, I love Africa.
Right, yeah, that was difficult. And then my friends just tagged me today saying this apparently is the most difficult guitar song on Guitar Hero. Come on, give it a go. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So I think I just really, really enjoy the sort of flexibility around choosing my own rep, or having suggestions and new requests of couples or brides or whoever the clientele are. And I love when I'm playing in a drink reception or in an evening gig and everyone's starting to sort of relax, really enjoy themselves. And then a group will come up and be like, did you just play this? Can you play this? I love that. It's great.
Because it's good to have free and it's good to have the classical. You mentioned Toto there, Africa. Sam, that coming. I can...
It's coming.
What? No.
It's coming. I'm going to put my screen on because Chris's voice won't be heard. No, I'm only joking. Go on, Chris.
No, you know how difficult it is to do anything with that song. I once mixed the ultimate mix, didn't I, with Africa into
Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys.
Yep.
The Beastie Boys. It was the ultimate mix. Some DJs have never even tried it. Even Dave Ricco, one of our top DJs on our books, has never even tried that mix. I'm still waiting to hear it. Do you remember it was like we were in the Lowry? Oh, I should have seen it, Rhianwen. It was amazing.
We were filming a showcase for another DJ, and Chris decided to get on the decks and try and, as you do, and you just said, okay, pick Beastie Boys, and then what's another one? Africa, right at the top, and tried to put them together, and let's just say it didn't work.
Yeah, speaking of contemporary, that was the biggest contemporary flop known to man. But what's the most difficult track you've ever had to be asked to play?
I once was asked to play Finlandia, which is a piece composed by Sibelius for full orchestra. I once was asked to play that. So on my break, they said, I've got the sheet music here for Finlandia. I'd love for you to play it. And I'll give everything a go, but that was crazy. But stuff like the Toto, the Africa, you know, when you've got the sort of accompaniment on the synth and then the high sort of parts, if you can imagine sort of moving octaves, that's quite difficult to do. But I just like a challenge, whether it be something slower, classical, contemporary, whatever. So I just love it when someone says, I'd love if you can do this. But I have had a few strange requests. So I played at a Bollywood wedding.
Wow.
And they had all these beautiful Bollywood music pieces. But to walk down the aisle for the bridal entrance, she wanted Star Wars. So I was like, okay. And all the guests looked around thinking, what is she doing? And they thought I'd chosen it.
That's brilliant.
So that was fun.
FYI, Chris and I are big Star Wars fans, aren't we, mate?
We are big Star Wars fans, so that'll be what we will be requesting when we can do a wedding first.
Hang on a minute, you're getting married soon. Why aren't you getting Star Wars theme tune down the aisle?
Well, I was thinking maybe what could be done. I liked your Muse track on your Instagram.
Yeah,
that is very good.
I love Muse because they sort of write their music typically to sort of classical structure, don't they?
Yeah.
So the actual music, the melodies, I just love Muse. They're one of my favourite bands.
Yeah, they to see live because they just make noise, and that's what it's all.
Yeah.
Where can everyone find your to look at your repertoires and stuff?
So I have like a 20 million page repertoire list I keep adding to, but I try to sort of post ideas, post clips, covers on my Instagram. So the handle is @harpist Rhianwen, and that's where sometimes I get requests. So I'm currently arranging a Evanescence song as a request of someone. So I post quite a few things there.
Fab. We look forward to seeing more of these, and especially on the Sealive website.
I was just you took the words straight out of my mouth, Chris.
There you go.
So guys, make sure that you do follow us on our Facebook, Twitters, and our Instagrams. I'll put the handles up again for you to all see. On Facebook, we are @Sealive. On Twitter, we are @SealiveN1, and also on Instagram, we are @SealiveUK. And you can also find Rhianwen and all the other fantastic artists on our website, www.sealive.co.uk. You can see the solos, duos, tributes, bands, and look at that there as well. Rhianwen, Pugh as well on there as well. Rhianwen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us this evening. It's been an absolute privilege and pleasure to have you on. And again, we look forward to working with you and getting you some fantastic gigs around Liverpool and the Northwest.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's nice to virtually meet you.
Likewise. Chris, another Sealive podcast.
Here we go, mate. It's rolling on. We're coming up to a year now.
I can't, but we've got to do something special for the 52nd.
The anniversary. We'll start thinking we'll start thinking of it. We'll get all our artists to do something
we need
for
a
us,
cake.
like it.
I think.
Oh yeah. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
You can make that.
We get Daisy Gill from the other week. She can make a cake for us.
Any cookies?
No cookies. Guys. None of that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in this evening for the Sealive podcast. As always, stay safe out there, and we'll be back next week with another edition and another fantastic guest. But in the meantime, stay safe out there. Good night, God bless. Bye-bye.